kind of panic bits from the coxswain going, bow, take a tap, 2, take a touch.
That's
there
it,
we
they're
go,
off.
and we are off.
Mansfield was touching at the time of the gun, so.
Yeah,
And
men's
look at the
Division 3 is
difference it's
underway.
made.
Yes,
Gosh.
Mansfield hard on the rudder to make up for that very, very unfortunate start there, which means
And
that Lincoln are making
really
a beeline straight for them. My goodness, this is a rapid close by Lincoln. Lincoln are on absolutely fire right now. They are closing in. It's already down to about a quarter of a length between Lincoln and Mansfield.
And Pembroke have done well behind them because they've closed, I think, on Lincoln as well.
Quite possibly, yeah. So we could have a three-way sandwich.
Well away. Mansfield now,
Mansfield.
and you'll see the gap. They've recovered from that. Gosh, they've done well to recover from that.
Yeah, Mansfield have pulled away quite significantly from Lincoln there, as we see towards the bottom end of this division. We've got Lineker, St Anne's, Worcester, and is that Peters maybe? I can't. Oh, right. So that's a concession from Pembroke.
That's from Pembroke.
Yeah, so St Hughes have bumped Pembroke. M2 steps down for Pembroke. Pembroke need to keep rowing because they are very much still a racing crew. They're going to get hit again. That's going to be a road pass from Somerville. Pembroke aren't even pointing in the right direction. They're heading up towards a dead end in the river.
To the tree. Yes.
Oh no, this is all going to end badly. Right, let's stick on camera 2, and if you can zoom in to see what happens with Pembroke, that'd be really helpful because this is going to be messy. Oh no, Somerville now heading straight for Pembroke. What are Somerville doing here? That's not probably the safest conduct in the world. Yeah, and Lineker are going to now go for the road pass.
Lineker are going to get them.
Yeah.
Lineker will be the net beneficiaries of that mad steering.
Well, Somerville could be in for a penalty bump here potentially for what is a very interesting line. Let's try and stick, if we can, hot on the heels of Lineker and Pembroke because this is really messy and very complicated. So if I decipher that, Somerville are rowing on to get out of the way and to get out of the chaos that's about to happen. Lineker still very much a racing crew. They'll be trying to bump Pembroke. So very, very messy. And we've not got many crews below this. So we've got Worcester who are still rowing. So Worcester, I think, may have got bumped by whoever the sandwich crew were, if there was a sandwich crew. St Anne's aren't around. If there was a sandwich crew at all, because yesterday I think there's a crew where we didn't have a sandwich boat. So I think that I would determine that Lineker got bumped by St Anne's. We saw Somerville bumping Pembroke 2 in what I can only describe as an awful mess, and I think that'll be on the Coxing highlights and lowlights video tomorrow because questionable there. But I'll say no more on that because I'll try and be positive.
New College now trying to row as economically as possible to get to the finish without having, because they've pulled away from Mansfield and they are now secure unless they make a big haulix of it.
Exactly. Other malted drinks are indeed available. No, wait, we're not on the BBC, so we don't have to say that disclaimer. We're fine. New College have pulled away quite significantly from Mansfield, and to be fair, Mansfield have pulled away quite a bit from Lincoln after that shock of a start. Lineker now closing down pretty hard on Pembroke too. I mean, it was pretty messy in the gut, but that's now down to about half a length between Lineker and Pembroke too.
Yes. So if Lineker get Pembroke too, then Hughes and Somerville both go up with them, don't they?
So basically what happens is all the crews that bump Pembroke go up one, Pembroke 2 go down multiple places. There's no chain bump here. Okay. No one's bumped someone who's then gone on to bump someone else.
It's a chain bump down, but not a chain bump up. Okay.
I wouldn't call it a chain bump. It's not a chain bump up, and we wouldn't really call it a chain bump down. So, yeah.
Okay.
Complicated stuff sometimes. Yeah, a bad day for Pembroke, unfortunately.
And that's New College going past the boathouses up towards the finish line now.
Yeah, I think that one's Mansfield actually. We've got New College just out of a shot on the right. Yeah.
Yeah, Mansfield chasing New College.
Yeah, we've got all the crews that have wound down during this division, so they're just warming down, and heading back to the. Let's keep on this. Yes, Pembroke 2 versus Lineker. Pembroke 2 running away at the crossover. Lineker 2 hot on their heels. That's maybe down to about a third, maybe even a quarter of a length between Pembroke and Lineker. It's hard to tell.
Judging by the way the Cox is looking round, that gap is closing.
Yep. that it's all about the Pembroke M2 Cox keeping a cool,
Oh.
calm head, and also what the Cox should be thinking about is actually nudging out very slightly into the centre of the stream. That might sound counterintuitive, but if Lineker make a gain, they can effectively pin Pembroke in, meaning that Pembroke can't go right because they've resulted in a bump, and they can't go left because the bank's there. Whereas if Pembroke nudge themselves to the right, they can escape out of Lineker, and they've got the width of the river to cross, which might buy them 150 metres and might see them through to the finish line very safely.
But I think that thinking wasn't happening.
Well,
He's
there's still
hugging
a
the
bit.
bank. He's not going to cross over.
Well, there's still a bit of a bend here, so it does make sense that the fastest racing line is to stick to what Pembroke are doing, but Pembroke need to have in the middle of their mind what's going on. Interestingly, Lineker are moving out quite significantly. It's a clever move. I don't know whether this is going to be successful or not. It is very safe, which is fantastic to see. Whether or not Lineker are now going to have enough room and enough steam to bump Pembroke, I think we're going to have to see in the last 30 seconds of this race. But it's going to come down to the wire, this one. Absolutely down to the wire.
And the overlap has to be before Pembroke's stern crosses the line, doesn't it?
Correct.
It's not the bells in these.
Overlap isn't a bump. Contact or a concession or a road pass, but I'm not talking about road pass here. Contact or a concession needs to happen, before the Pembroke stern crossed the finish line. And as we saw, Lineker took that wide line. They've now cut back in again. That will have cost them a quarter of a length. So the coxing from Lineker might have cost them a bump in this division, in what is a very hotly contested men's Division 3.
Yes, he should have kept the pressure on them sideways as well as.
Yeah, it's wise to move out. Yeah, there we go. Pembroke have wound down, Lineker have wound down, no bump there. It was wise for them to take a wider angle so Pembroke couldn't run away, but that was too wide an angle. And unfortunately, I think that bump was lost. That opportunity was sadly squandered due to some of the coxing, which is sad to see from Lineker, and hopefully they'll learn from this opportunity, but probably a massive relief for Pembroke, who only go down 2 today as opposed to going down 4 because Lineker got bumped by St Anne's. So it would have been a chain bump for Lineker, or a chain bump from St Anne's onto Lineker onto Pembroke, and it would have been a day disaster for Pembroke.